A few years ago, I quit my job in HR to become the only American, only female, only Christian, and only blonde academy football coach or soccer coach for the Adidas Game Day Academies and Paris Saint-Germain Academies in Bangalore, India. And as I got off the plane, I discovered that Kevin Durant had left Oklahoma for Steph Curry on the same day that I had left Oklahoma for Indian curry. I also discovered that I would be living and working with a team of international coaches. We had guys from England, Scotland, France, Australia, India. It was like the beginning of a bad joke. And as we all came together, each of us sought to leave our mark on the team's organization and country. Some were fantastic leaders, and others were fantastic disasters. As sometimes our greatest intentions can be sabotaged through poor implementation. Oftentimes I had young leaders come and ask, Miss Amber, how do I effectively lead change in my teams and organization? I told them to begin by saying, salutations. See, sometimes it can be easy to go into an organization and we see everything that needs to be done and it feels as if we don't have time to build relationships. Other times we're meeting people, but we're really just seeing what they can offer for us. Sometimes we actually do meet everyone, but it looks more like this. Hi, 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 hi. Okay, let's get to work. And so we've met everyone, but we haven't really built a relationship with anyone. All of this is disingenuous, and people notice. There's a guy named, psychologist named Bruce Tuckman, and he tells us that all teams go through stages of development, and we seek to get to that highest performing stage. And it's easy to forget that we must first form, storm, and norm relationships with those around us. See, relationships are the defining factor between you managing change and you leading change. In fact, if we lack relationships, oftentimes as leaders, we can fall into a few different traps. Why, I had one young French coach that was going to change the face of Indian football, and he was going to do it all on his own. He was going to be the coach, he was going to be the referee, he was going to be the player, he was going to be the parent. He was going to play all the roles, and we began to call him French Superman. But what French Superman didn't realize is that if you can achieve your dreams all on your own, then you're probably not dreaming big enough. If you want to change more than yourself, then you're going to have to include more than yourself. Furthermore, people don't want to be helplessly saved by somebody in power. We build relationships so that we can effectively empower. I had another coach that was going to train high-performing players and coaches, but he soon became disheartened because his players in India were not motivated the same way that he and his players were in his home country. But just because someone is motivated differently than you does not mean that they are not motivated. And so we build relationships so that we can effectively inspire and motivate those around us. Because as leaders, it is not our job to ask for motivation and support. It is our job to inspire it. Many of my players were inspired by a lot of different things. Some of them wanted to win. Others wanted to have fun. Others wanted to be with their mates. Why, I had one young lad come up to me and he said, Miss Amber, whenever I grow up, I am going to be a professional footballer and a professional cricketer. When the other kids began to laugh at him, he said, I know I can be a professional in two sports because I know of a great American man who is a professional baseballer and a professional basketballer, and he took on a realm of monsters to save the universe. We build relationships because your team might even be inspired by Space Jam. As we join new organizations, we enter in new cultures. See, what worked in your previous team might not work in your team today. And so we build relationships so that we can learn from one another, so that we don't become a cultural middle finger. Because while this might be okay in some organizations, we throw the horns down in my household. #BeatTexas. And as we build relationships with others, it is then time to make a decision and choose the direction of change. And after we have chosen that direction, we must communicate it and communicate it clearly to those around us. Don't expect others to blindly follow you. And if they are, you should probably ask them where they think they're going. And as I worked with my coaches and our teams, we began to build relationships intentionally so that we could empower, not become a French Superman, so that we could inspire and not be a hopeless blamer, and so that we could learn from one another, so that we weren't a cultural middle finger. And we truly were able to change the face of Indian football. And as you go into your organizations today, I inspire you to build relationships, to make decisions and choose your direction of change, and then communicate it, and communicate it clearly. Because if you can achieve your dreams all on your own, then you're probably not dreaming big enough. And this is how we change our teams, change our organization, and truly change our world. Thank you so much.